Morning, fellas. So, ooh, a little close. So to start the new year, hope everybody had a good New Year's night and didn't have to spend their time in jail. Uh, I'm gonna kind of go through the cars that I have and cover what's gonna be happening with them this year. If not this year, then down the road. First here, the oldest one in the, I don't want to call it a fleet. It's like 4 or 5 cars, but the one people ask most questions about, the Dugan wagon. You guys know we went up to northeast Georgia and got this thing, and I brought it back home. Tearing it apart went pretty quick, and then run into other things that got me distracted. So this is how it's sitting right now outside the garage. As soon as I get the other cars done that I'm going to talk about next, this is going to go under the carport over there, and then that's Brandon's car underneath all that stuff. That is going to go in the garage so I can work on both. You know, if I don't feel like working on Brandon's car, I can work on a Dugan or vice versa. But at least it'll be under a roof. So what's happening with this, it was originally a 6-cylinder, I think it was a 6, or no, it was a V8 automatic car, I think. I'd have to double check that. And Dugan put in a like a warmed up 302 and a 5-speed in it, and then another guy bought it. It changed hands a few times. It kind of got neglected, so I ended up getting it, trading the Cobra. I got a bunch of money, good chunk of money back, and I've sold a lot of the stuff that was on it that I didn't want to use. And so right now it's projected to get, there's going to be a lot of engine swapping in my future. The engine from the red car with just a smaller cam, and then instead of the Holly intake, it'll get the Performer RPM, the 2nd gen. It's going to get painted bright Atlantic blue. That's usually was on 98 Mustangs. And it'll have Cobra or Mach 1 brakes, 13s in the front, 12s in the back. And I want to get some of those 93 Cobra style wheels, some in the aftermarket. There's an aftermarket company making them. They, I think, are making them only an 18-inch, and I'd be happy with 17s. But so that's what it'll be, bright Atlantic blue. I got to do a complete color change, so all the stuff's got to come apart. It should not take as long as the 86 car, because I'm not trying to make it light or anything like that. And I'm going from there. I think that was about it. Like I said, 373s, 4-wheel disc brakes, 5-speed. Relatively warmed up. I don't want to say mild, but it should make about 350 or so to the wheels. Be a nice cruiser. I got all the interior was already redone with the seats and all that, and then I just got to put carpet in and get the door panels redone. So it really doesn't need like a whole lot of work. I'll put new rubber in it, new door seals, all that stuff, just like I did on a black LTD. All right, we'll get you on to the next one. All right, so this is the next one, the LTD LX. This will be going in the garage after I get the engine swapped into that red car. This one currently has a 331 5-speed and a 410 gears. It's got Mach 1 brakes front and back, Fox body, sway bars. It's got a 98 convertible rear sway bar, long tubes, 3-inch X, 3-inch exhaust. Runs good. It's just got the 2 cylinders have issues. I think it's scratches in the cylinder wall. I don't know what caused that or what the issue was. When we built this engine in Vincent's car, I don't recall that being an issue with the cylinder walls, but it always has used a little bit of oil, and it fouls the plugs really bad on those 2 cylinders. So I was going to swear off a 331 in here when a transmission broke, but then I remembered the seen the video with at Rod's on the input shaft. The back end of the input shaft was kind of a little sketchy, but we ran it anyway, and I think that was what caused, excuse me while I try to get this is a high quality operation here, try to get this set up. So where the input shaft and the main shaft meet, the back end of the input shaft was boogered up, and I think that's what caused the transmission to fail, because Vince had this engine in his car for several years. Well, not several, probably 3 or 4, and never had an issue. And he was, you know, when we had trouble keeping clutches in it, and it never ever hurt the transmission. And that was a stock T5 that had like 200 and some thousand miles on it, so we never had an issue with it. So what's going to happen is the transmission or the engine will come out of the red car. That's a 302 AFR 165, so I'm going to put a little smaller cam in it and an RPM 2 or second gen RPM intake on it. I'll put that in here and run it, and I'll see how I like it. If I still want to have the 331, the 331 will go back in, and if run it with a T5 and see how it works out. So the 330, the engine that's in the red car now, like I said, there's a couple of engine changes in my future. It's a stock, or it's not, it is a 302. But it's got aftermarket pistons and aftermarket rods in it. This was all in the Dugan wagon when I got it. So I went through it and put it together and stuck it in the red car. And it runs good. It made like 390 horse with a TFSR box on it. But like I said, I'm going to put a smaller cam. I'll put it in here, see how I like it, and then if I want to put the 331 back in, this engine, that engine, the 302, will go into the Dugan wagon. I guess there's that possibility where if I'm content with it, the 331 could end up in the Dugan wagon, but I think I'd rather have it in here because it's got 410s. The Dugan wagon will have the same suspension setup and brakes and all that. So that's the plan right now. Of course, with any plan, is subject to change. We just got to see how I like it. I don't want to go to the expense of putting a TKX in here, but if that comes to that, you know, down the road, then maybe that's what we'll do. We'll see. So that's what's going on with 85 LTD, but I got to get the 86 out of the garage first. And so what I might do is just get the doors on it and bring it up under here to put it underneath the carport and let it sit till Herbie's ready to paint it. And then, so in the meantime, once the LX is up here, then I can get the red car in the garage. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that, or tell you, not showing you yet. All right, so this is the 90 LX. This has a 302 in it, like I just got done talking about with the other car. It's got a AFR 165s that I ported, and I put 2.02 valves in them. It's got a little comp cam I had them do. It's 223, 230, 108 intake centerline. It's like 565, 555 lift. It's a decent cam. It gets good mileage, runs good, makes power. I just don't want to use that in the Dugan wagon. So like I said, what I'll do is put a little smaller cam in there and a different intake, and then this will get the 347 that's on the stand, and then I'll put full exhaust on it and I'll run that for a while. I had this up at the track earlier in the year, I think April, and it ran a 712, I think was the best it did, at 97, almost 98 miles an hour. That was with a T5 or Z-Spec and 488 gears. So what I did was I took all these parts moving around. So I took the Z-Spec out and I put a regular T5 in. I took the 488 out and I put a 456 in. and I didn't run it at the track since then because the transmission's got a pretty good leak out of the front, and I didn't want to pull the trans and take it out to fix it, because I thought pretty quick I'm going to have the LX done, the 86 LX trooper car out, and then I can swap this. Well, that pretty quick turned out to be still isn't done yet. So I'll put the 347 in here and I have full exhaust on it, and then I'll go up there and see how it runs against Keith's car with the his 347. His is a full weight car. Mine doesn't have a roll bar, but it's 2,900 some pounds, you know, the way it is. So hopefully it's some good racing, and hopefully again that I can get up to the track, because I only think I went twice last year, which is pretty sad. So that next leads me to the next car. All right, so next one up is the trooper car. You guys that are watching the progress on this thing, this is the only thing I've had videos on in like the last year, because it's been in here that long and it's taken me that long to get to this point. This was like a total, I don't want to say restoration, but it was down to, there was nothing in the car but the dome light harness, and that was it. What this is, we're trying to make it a little lighter than it was before. It ran a 714 at 94, almost 95. Needs to have more mile an hour to get into the sixes. So the objective was to get a stock cam, you know, car into the sixes. So we went on a little weight loss thing with the car, trying to get 100 pounds out of it. I think I'm there. I did a little work on the intake, hopefully make a little more power, got some better headers, and I had a couple stuck lifters that I didn't know about, so hopefully it makes a little more power. And I also fixed a hanging brake caliper, so hopefully all those things combined will get me into the sixes. It'll probably take a little bit, because I hadn't been going to track, so I'm going to be out of practice, but hopefully the stuff we've done will get me there. Sticking with those brakes for now. If worst comes to worst, I don't get into the sixes, if I go 7-0 myself to death for a while, then maybe I'll step up and put some racing brakes on it. Strange, it has a kit for the 94, 98 Mustangs, or 90, yeah, 94 to 04. That'll take 15 or 20 pounds off the front end, if not more. So hopefully that might be enough. If it gets to that point, we'll see. But for now, I'm going to run it with that and practice. And, the 2-hour drive up there isn't a whole lot of fun, or the 2-hour drive on the way back. But that's just what we got to deal with. Either go there or else go to Panama City track north of Panama City. Either way, it's both, either way is close to 2 hours for both tracks. Plus, only Roger and Patrick go over there occasionally, but most of the guys tend to go up to Atmore just because it's closer to all them. So, sticking with this engine in here, it's a stock 86 short block, came out of Baby Pro stock. Got a good set of twisted wedges on it. 4-hole throttle body on a Victor Jr. clone intake, and a stock 86 speed density system with a chip. So, like I said, hopefully that'll be enough to get us into the sixes. We're certainly going to try. Since I had it at the track last time when I broke the transmission, so it's got a Z-spec in it now and a 488 gear. So hopefully that will help us too, along with the weight loss. And of course, I need to lose some weight too, so we'll try working on that as well. All right, so that goes to the next 86 car, the Capri. All right, so this is not my car. This is actually Vincent's car. But I'm providing the engine, transmission, and probably a lot of the work. He's going to do work on it once it gets to where we can work out, and he's got to buy some parts yet. He was out of commission in the job market for a while, so everything went on hold for this. It's getting a 302, a stock 86 short block with valve release cut in it, ported Explorer heads with 1.9 valves, a Holly intake. We got the headers for it. We got the X pipe, and it's getting a 456 rear end. It's got a 430 rear end now with a traction lock. I'm gonna take the rear end and then give him back a rear end that I got from Donut Man. We're gonna put 456s in it and a spool, and the rear end that's in here now is gonna be used in something else. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So this is gonna stay a 302 with 5-speed. It'll be getting his 331 sometime down the road once he's got some practice behind the wheel on this, so he can keep so once we put the 331 in there, he'll be comfortable running it. It ain't gonna be like super fast because we're not doing any weight loss out of it. We're gonna take the door bars out, and we put a tubular K member in it. The heater box is out. Other than that, it's whatever. It weighs what it weighs. Like I said, this really nice car. Body's in good shape. Was taken really good care of. So once we get to the point where we can start on it, it shouldn't take like it did with the Trooper car, take a whole year. This should go a lot quicker than that, I hope. All right, on to the last one. Almost forgot. Look at that Rodney. I don't know if Rodney watches this garbage, but he really has an aversion to Capri hatches. All right, guys, this is the last one. This is actually Brandon's car. I gave it to him. The backstory on this is I bought this car in Germany in 1991. This is an 88 GT. The guy I bought it from had bought it brand new, and he was getting married, and his fiance wanted him to sell the car. I didn't pass any judgment on his decision. I just wanted the car, so that's what I ended up with. I drove it in Germany, had it shipped to the US when I left Germany in 93, and 93. And then I brought it down here to Florida. I had it in Texas. I had it painted in Germany, but I didn't know back then what I know now, obviously, that you can't use dish soap on automobile cars. You got to use regular dedicated soap. So what happened, clear started coming off, and so I had a 302 in it. Then I had a 351, real mild 351, and had it dialed in where it worked pretty good. And I drove it into the garage like, gosh, 20 some years ago maybe, and to paint it. And this is as far as I got. I ended up buying a station wagon and getting distracted, taking parts off this to put on the station wagon, and it just kept on going. So this is getting a 302, put a 5-speed back in it. I got a 373 rear end up there on that, on that pile of stuff. And it'll get Cobra brakes, same suspension like what's on the LTD now, what's going to be on the Dugan wagon. It works really well. I had that set up on the red car before, and I liked the way it handled really well. Wasn't an abusive ride or anything like that. Handled really, really good. So I asked Brandon what he wanted for an engine. I said, do you want something that makes good power and gets good mileage, or would you rather have something that makes more power and maybe not as good a mileage? And he said he wants more power. So I was envisioning an Explorer engine with ported heads and an Explorer intake, ported, and like the cam out of the red car now. And so now he'll be getting, I've got a 306 in the garage, so I'll put probably those AFR Enforcer heads and the cam from the red car and a Holly intake. He's already bought 1 3/4 long tube BBKs. I got a 3-inch X pipe, and the exhaust is what was on Vincent's silver car. The pipes, what was it? Pipes Race Pros, I think, and 3-inch tailpipes, all that with polished tips and all that. I had I still have. I put this on. It's a Cervini's style Cobra rear bumper, and I was going to put one on the front too, but those things now are not available. The Cervini Stalker is available, but that's a lot of money, so we'll probably just end up keeping the front end like a GT. All the side skirts, all that are either in there or in the shed. I just got way too much stuff for my little bit of property here. So that's what's happening with that. Like I said, after I get the engine swapped in the LTD and the LX, the red LX, then this will go in the garage and work will commence on this. This is the same way with the like the Capri. Essentially, it's not getting any weight loss or leaving the door bars in. Everything's going to be like it was in the interior. We're putting I've got a set of 86 GT Recaro style seats for it, and new carpet. Everything else is pretty decent interior wise, so we're gonna roll with it. So they're just gonna have a little hopped up engine, good suspension and brakes, and Herbie will get to paint it when it gets to that point. I got two more to talk about. All right, so you guys saw Rodney's channel a couple, I don't know how far back it was. He had alluded to he's got a 93 LX. It was called the Skylar car. It's just a white 93 LX hatch. Had a 4-cylinder, I think auto. Always wanted a white car for some reason. I think it goes back to when I was a kid. There was a magazine, Hot Rod. I'm sure you've heard of it. And maybe you've seen articles where they're talking about when they tested the 68 Mosstang Cobra Jet. And that was a white car, had a white steel wheels, poverty caps, dog dish hubcaps on it. And so I've always wanted to kind of do that, like a modern day version of that look. So what I'm going to do is we're getting that car. I gave him a set of ported Explorer heads, kind of like a hold money for it. And then he's got I think he's had a 351 short block. He needs the pistons notched. I told him how to do it, but he's like, that sounds tedious. I said it is. So he don't want to mess with it. So we're kind of working out the deal where I'll get that LX and then I'll do his piston notching whenever he gets where he wants it done. I think we had talked about he needs to have the heads and valves and the cam, whatever cam he's going to put in there, so I can make sure everything works together. What's going in that is I've got the short block from Trooper Car, and I've got a set of ported twisted wedges, and so that something like that setup will go in it with the truck upper that I have. Holly lower of the truck upper. This is on hold for a bit just because I don't need it yet, and this other stuff's more of a priority. So it'll have that upper, converted to mass air, the 430 rear end out of the Capri, a 5-speed, and that'll be more of my driver car. I'm not going to do like any lightweight stuff. I'll probably might even still keep the heat and air, not the air conditioning, but just the heater box, because defrost is pretty handy. It sucks going on the road trying to clean the windshield or the inside of the windshield off. But it will be white. It's going to have white Mopar police car wheels that I've already got. They're black now. I had them on the red car before, and so I'll just run that. It'll be pretty mild. It should make 340 or so to the wheels, and should be able to run in the low 7s with it. And you've heard of Mosstang. That's the last one I'm going to blabber about today. What I'm thinking of doing down the road is when I get to that'll probably be a year plus before I can even get to that one. What I'll do with that is going to be, might take the 347 out of the red car then, and when the Capri gets the 331, I'll take that, 302 and put it in a red car. Like I said, I told you there's going to be a lot of engine swapping. So that's going to be, either way, if I put a 302 in it or the 347, it'll be a really fun, fast driver. I'm painting it, the hell is it? It's gold color. And I've got, the seats have been redone in it. So, the interior will be black, the exterior will be gold. And Brandon wanted the Mach 1 wheels for his 88 GT. I gave him the option to run either the stern clones, the chrome stern clones, like we used to have on Brandon's Cobra, or the Mach 1 wheels, and he chose Mach 1 wheels. So the Mosstang will get the chrome stern replicas, and then the Mach 1 wheels will go on 88 GT, and that will too have the same kind of setup for the suspension as the LTD has. What Brandon's 88 GT is going to have, it'll have the H&R race springs, Bilstein struts, bigger sway bars, Cobra Mach 1 style brakes. Like I said, be a nice driver. I think I've got another 373 set up over there I can put in it, and a 5-speed, and the engine, whatever that is. So that's the plan. That's, and like any plan, it's subject to change. As you can tell, I've already made changes to it from what I wanted to do. Like I said, and that's going to be kind of fluid. So we kind of make a plan, and then we devise changes as we see fit. So that's essentially it, where we're standing right now, January 1st, 2024. What we are at the end of the year, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another thing I want to talk about was a huge thank you. I just started this channel just for a place to host videos, because my ISP stopped doing that quite a while ago, and I was just like sticking a video up here every now and again, that I had taken with my little camera. And then it kind of got to be like, well, not many people know about this or that, and there's a lot of misinformation on the interweb. So if I just put this up here, say what my experience was with it, maybe people will have something they can look at, down the road, especially down the road when Fox bodies are like uber antiques and only a few people have them. It's not like I'm the resident expert, but I ain't afraid to try different stuff, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. So if it saves somebody else grief or gives them a shortcut to get what they want to get down the road, then that's the point. So I think last time I looked, it was like 1,300 some subscribers. I never anticipated having that many. I'm sorry, the videos usually suck. It's kind of boring, but that's just the way it is. I got one personality, I got to roll with it. So thank you to all of you that, by your own choice, click on the link and watch this stuff, even if you can't stomach watching it all the way through. I do appreciate you, watching it, and the feedback I get from y'all. So thank you. Hope everybody like I said, had a good new year, and make this new year ahead of you the best you can make it. All right. Appreciate y'all. Later.